first look at the mapping between MT and the ISO. I will first speak about the customer payment messages. Customer payments would mean that any transaction where there is a non-bank entity involved. So when we have got the customer payment transaction, a customer, like let's say Sony Corporation or Samsung or maybe LG, they can create an MT101. MT101 then is created by the customer, initiating the credit transfer. It can be created by the customer or a bank on behalf of the customer. This is what is the role of MT101. Customer telling his bank, instructing his bank that I would like to make a payment. So LG says that I would like to make a payment to Sony. This is the role of MT101. Let me shift the roles a little this side. What is the purpose is what I'm calling it. In the MX world or the ISO world, its equivalent is going to be a pane 001. Then in the MT world, we'll have a message type called MT102, MT103. MT103 is a multiple customer credit transfer. That means in one single message, a bank can tell the clearinghouse or the bank can tell its correspondent that I want to make multiple payment transactions. In ISO, I got equivalent of that, which is called as PAX08. So for both these, I got the PAX08. All these message types which we are seeing so far are the credit transfer message types. So I got PAN01 and PAX08 as the main message types in ISO. Equivalent in MT is 101 and 102. Then we'll have, let me call this as credit transfers. I will have customer payments, but direct debits. Then the equivalent of that in the MT category will be MT104. The equivalent of that here in the ISO to initiate that direct debit, there will be first the pane 008 and followed by PAX 003. These are the equivalent here. So this is, I forgot to write one here, single customer credit transfer. That means in one single MT103, I can have only one transaction. That is the single customer credit transfer. Then this is customer direct debit. These are the important message types so far as the credit transfers are concerned. 101, 102, 103, and 104. There will be two more message types, MT202 cover and 205 cover. I will discuss them separately when I start discussing the interbank transaction series. So interbank would mean FI to FI, interbank payments. In MT category, I could have MT200, large numbers are there, 200, 201, 202, 203, 205. These are all interbank credit transfers. Equivalent of this in the ISO world will be a PAX 009, one single message. All these. Any question up to this point?
Sorry, sir. Thoda sa late join. I'll join a little late. Can you please come once again?
I'll refresh what I've said.
Yeah.
In column D, I got MT categories. In column E, I got the ISO or MX categories. And column G gives you the purpose of that message. So equivalent of MT101 will be PAN01. Let's say somebody like Sony wants to make a payment to somebody like Toyota. Sony initiates a PAN01 or an MT101, tells its bank that I would like to pay so much money to Toyota. So MT101 and a PAN 001 is usually from the customer to the bank, telling the bank, debit my account and make this payment. Then using that incoming MT101 or the PAN 001, the bank will ask the clearing system or its correspondent by using a PAX08 that make this payment to somebody else on the other side. So PAX08 is always from one bank to the clearing system or from one bank to its correspondent bank. That is the role of PAX08, and all these are customer related credit transfers. If there is a customer related direct debit, then we'll have a MT104, or otherwise a PAN08 gets created, and based on that a PAX03 gets created by the bank. So this is the use. This is where we will use for direct debits the message type. How they are used, actually we'll see that when we see module 4 in the use cases. I'll be explaining the actual examples of how this happens in the world. I'm just giving you the mapping at this point of time. And when you talk about interbank transactions, one bank trying to make a payment to another bank, let's say ICICI Bank wants to pay HDFC, or Bank of America wants to pay HSBC, then they will use in the MT world these different types of messages. An equivalent of that in ISO is PAX09. All these are interbank credit transfer message. This is where I had reached, and then I was starting to discuss the direct debits. In MT world, the direct debits will be MT204. Equivalent of that in the scenario here will be the PAX10. This is interbank direct debit. I'm not discussing any request to pay message types, because in MT there is no request to pay concept. In MT there is either a direct debit or the credit transfer. In addition to this MT message, this is where we are talking about category 1 in MT, category 2 in MT. In category 2 in MT, there are two more message types, 202 cover and 205 cover. These are used only for customer related credit transfer. So the 202 cover and 205 cover are always used along with MT103 in MT category, or a PAX008 in the ISO category. So though they are in category 2, category 2 is always to be used for customer, only for interbank transactions where there is no non-bank entity in that payment transactions. Equivalent of that is my message type called PAX009. These are the equivalents so far as the messages to move the money are concerned. Any questions before I go to non-value? These are value messages in the sense they move money. All these move money in MT, in ISO. Any questions before I go to the non-value?
There is one more in PAX09, 202, advice, I guess. I don't recall.
That is PAX09.
That is PAX09. Okay.
Yeah, there is nothing in that PAX09. I'm not talking about PAX09 advice because there is no equivalent in MT.
Right.
Okay, so I'm here only comparing MT versus ISO. Sorry?
Will you be sharing this list to refer?
I'll share this Excel sheet now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when it comes to
Makran, one quick question. We see we have a standard message type, which is PAX9, but 201, 202, 203, 205. I mean, are they same, or we will have some variation when it comes to field names?
If they are same, why create so many types?
I mean, the nature of the message is same, which I understand. But why do we?
Fields are also different.
Okay.
Fields are different in the sense you want to understand the difference between all these. That's what I guess.
Yeah. 202, I know that it's the.
Okay.
I mean,
let me give you an example.
Yeah.
There is a bank called HSBC.
Yeah.
And let's say HSBC UK. HSBC UK has got two accounts in USA. One with Bank of America. Another account, let's say, with let's say Citibank. In both the places, it is HSBC account. HSBC wants to move its own money from its account at BOFA to its account at Citi. This is called own account transfer.
Okay.
So the sender of the money and the beneficiary of the money is same.
Okay.
HSBC is the sender from BOFA. HSBC is the receiver of money at Citi. For own account transfer, for a single transaction, MT200 is to be used. On account. So you're not paying third bank. You're paying yourself, but at a different location.
Okay.
I want to make such multiple transfers using some single message. So again, MT201 is own account transfer, but multiple own account transfers. So in 200, I can have only one transaction. in 201, I can have similar multiple transactions, but then again, HSBC is paying the money, HSBC is receiving the money, but there are more number of transactions in 201. Clear? On the first two, own account transfer. 202, you know that HSBC wants to pay Citibank, or maybe HSBC wants to pay ICICI for some different purpose. It's not transferring its own money to ICICI. It is paying ICICI maybe because we are giving a loan, or maybe we have purchased some currency or securities from them. For that, we want to make a payment. 203 is similar. So in 202, I got a single interbank transfer. And in 203, I got multiple such transfers.
So is this a bulk file kind of a thing? Like
Yes.
you debit? Okay.
Whenever I'm using the word multiple,
Okay.
is many transactions like a file.
Okay. Okay.
So we create a batch and then we use 203. Is it something? Kind of.
Whether the processing is done in a batch mode is decided by the clearinghouse, not by the bank. So if the clearinghouse may process all of them simultaneously, clearinghouse may wait and process that in a batch mode. Don't confuse the message creation with the manner in which the message gets processed. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. You send one single transaction, let's say using a 202 or using 103. The clearinghouse may park this 103 till end of the day and process that in a batch mode. Scenario 1. Scenario 2, you send 103 to the clearinghouse, it processes that in real time. So whether your message gets processed in real time or gets processed in the batch mode depends upon who is processing that message, not who is creating the message. Am I making sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now coming back to the non-value messages. First non-value message I'll have is in empty category. In empty category, I got a non-value message called MT210. MT210 is the notification to receive. Notification to receive is a message which is sent by a customer to its bank. The customer could be a corporate customer, customer could be a bank customer, sent by a customer to a bank, telling the bank that I'm expecting funds in my account. So this is called notification to receive. Is the statement I would have. This is non-value. Let me list out all the non-values first. Then I'll have in empty category, the MT900, MT910, MT940, MT940, I'll put 950. Then I'll have MT941, MT942, and MT920. These are the different types of messages. Now, when it comes to notification to receive, I will be having multiple message structures under the notification to receive, because in MT, I got only MT210. When I look at the notification to receive, here we'll have that notification to receive. In ISO, I got CAMT57, which is equivalent of my notification to receive. For this 58 and 59, there is no equivalent in the empty category. That's the reason I'm showing this to you, that for notification to receive, I got the CAMT057. To repeat, customer telling the bank about funds expected in the customer's account. So we are giving this in advance, that I tell my bank today that tomorrow I'm expecting $10,000 in my account. So funds expected is the information which is given. Here it is only moving the information. When it comes to MT900, it is called as confirmation of debit. When a bank debits the account of the customer, then they issue 900. When the bank credits, it is called confirmation of credit. Credits the account of a customer, then it issues the 910, confirmation of credit. Equivalent of 900 is CAMT054, and equivalent of 910 is also CAMT54. So when your account gets debited or credited, in ISO world, you'll receive the CAMT54 for both. In MT world, you'll receive 900 and 910. 900 for a debit to your account, 910 as a credit to your account. Then 940 and 950 are EOD statements. The first one is called as customer statement, And this one is again EOD statement, but this is called purely as a statement.
Is that 54D for debit and 54C for credit?
54.
D
Yeah,
for
here
debit and
there'll be
C
an
for
element inside 54. The message is not having different. There is a tag in the message, element in the message where you carry C or D.
Okay.
So there is a tag. The message type is not 54C and 54D. The message will have a tag. I'll show that message structure to you later when we go to 54. In that you will see C or D indicating it's a credit to the account or the debit to the account.
Oh.
Okay. Then equivalent of 940, 950. This is not the customer statement. This is only having the word statement. This is statement. Equivalent of that is MT53. Now 941 is known as the balance report. You'll just get the balance. And this is known as interim transaction report. So let's say your bank operates from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, I ask you for a statement for transaction from 9 to 11. Then that's the interim transaction report. It does not give you the balances. It only gives you the details of the transaction. Equivalent of this in ISO world is MT52. And last one, 920. It's a request by a customer to the bank to send the statement. Now, what could be the statement type? I want any one of these 4 statement types, 940, 950, 941, 942. In MT world, I'll send the 920, a request message to my bank, asking them to send me either a 940 or a 950 or a 941. In ISO world, that will be a MT60. These are the MTs and its equivalent ISO. If I have not mentioned an ISO, it's basically because there is no equivalent in MT otherwise. Yeah, go ahead.